So the rivalry between Batman and Superman has been one of the most enduring debates in comic book history. And on the surface, the battle seems one-sided because Superman is a near-invincible being blessed with super strength, speed, heat vision, flight, and near-godlike durability, while Batman is a mortal man with no inherent superpowers and relies solely on his intelligence, discipline, technology, and most importantly, his insane plot armor. However, stories like DC's Injustice storyline remind us that when these two icons clash, Batman often emerges as the victor, not because of physical superiority, but because of the very nature of his character. And one of the primary reasons Batman is consistently positioned to triumph over Superman is because Batman embodies the archetype of the strategist, which is someone who is always several steps ahead of his opponents, including his closest allies. Meanwhile, Superman is often written as reactive, despite his superhuman abilities and his morality and trust in others leave him vulnerable to manipulation. And another factor is the symbolic contrast between the two characters, because Superman represents absolute power restrained by morality, while Batman symbolizes human determination overcoming limitations. And in narrative terms, audiences resonate with Batman's victories because they reinforce the idea that human resilience alone can outmatch even the most powerful forces, which is particularly evident in Injustice, where Batman's resistance against a corrupted Superman becomes a metaphor for the struggle of free will against tyranny. But despite all these deeper ideas, Alfred once explained the very simple reason why Batman would always win against Superman. And this conversation happened when Damian visited the Batcave after allying himself with Superman's regime. And upon arriving, Damian told Alfred to stop wasting his time cleaning the Batcave because Bruce would never use it again, and they might as well turn it into a museum. But Alfred ignored it and proceeds to tell Damian that he was underestimating Bruce's abilities. But Damian believed the opposite because he thinks his father is underestimating Superman, and then asked Alfred why he would always choose Bruce over Superman. And Alfred calmly replied that if he were a betting man, all his money would always be on Bruce, which Damian found to be foolish. But when Alfred questioned his loyalty to the regime by asking Damian if he joined simply because he believed Batman could not defeat Superman, Damian immediately denied this by saying he wasn't afraid to die for what he believed in, and he was already convinced that Superman's rule made the world safer despite the lives lost. And when Alfred reminded him that Superman's tyranny had already cost him his family, Damian decided to walk out of the cave. But before leaving, he asked Alfred one last time why he believed Batman would win, and Alfred simply answered that Bruce is smarter and fearless, while Clark's entire life has been governed by fear, and despite all his powers, Clark will always be afraid, and therefore making Batman the absolute winner in Alfred's eyes.